This video is about Louis Braille, the person who invented Braille, as he noticed at the start of the video. Let's listen to his story. Let's go. Early life. Louis Braille was born in Coupvray, a small town about 20 miles east of Paris. On 4 January 1809, he and his 3 elder siblings, Monique Catherine, Louis Simon, and Marie-Céline, lived with their parents, Samarin and Monique, on 3 hectares of the land and vineyard on the countryside. Samarin maintained a successful enterprise as a leveler and maker of horse tack. As soon as he could walk, Braille's time was spent playing in his father's workshop. At the age of 3, the child was playing with some of the tools, trying to make holes in pieces of leather with an awl. Squinting closely at the surface, he pressed down a hard-to-drive point in, and the awl glanced across the tough leather and stabbed him in one of his eyes. A local physician bound and patched the affected eye and even arranged for Braille to be met in the next day in Paris by a surgeon. But no treatment could save the damaged organ. In agony, the young boy suffered for weeks as the wound became severely infected. He eventually lost sight in the other eye, likely due to sympathetic ophthalmia. Louis Braille survived the torment of infection, but by the age of 5, he was completely blind in both eyes. Due to his young age, Braille did not realize at first that he had lost his sight, and often asked why it was always dark. His parents made many offers, quite uncommon for the era, to raise their youngest child in a normal fashion, and he prospered in their care. He learned to navigate the village and country paths with canes his father hewed for him, as he grew up seemingly with peace with his disability. Braille's bright and creative mind impressed the local teachers and priests. He was accommodated with higher education. Blind education. Braille studied in Coupvray until the age of 10 because of his combination of intelligence and diligence. Braille was permitted to attend one of the first schools for blind children in the world, the Royal Institute for Blind Youth, since renamed to the National Institute for Blind Youth. In Paris, Braille, the last family of the children to leave the household, departed for the school in February 1819. At that time, the Royal Institute was underfunded, ramshackle affair, but it provided a relatively stable environment for the blind children to learn and associate together. The Howl system. The children were taught to read by a system devised by the school's founder, Valentin Howl. Not blind himself, Howl was a philanthropist who devoted his life to helping the blind. He designed and manufactured a small library of books for the children, using a technique of embossing the heavy paper with the raised imprints of Latin letters. Readers would trace their fingers over the text, comprehending slowly but in a traditional fashion in which Howl could appreciate. Braille was helped by the Howl books, but he also despaired over the lack of depth. The amount of information retained in such books was necessarily minor because the raised letters were made in a complex artisanal process using wet paper pressed against copper wire. The children could not hope to write by themselves, so that the young Louis would send letters back home. Simon Run provided him with an alphabet made from thick bits of thick leather. It was a slow and cumbersome process, but the boy could at least trace letters outlines and write his first sentences. The handcraft towel books came in all uncomfortable sizes and weights for children. They were laboriously constructed, very fragile and expensive to obtain. When Harry's Face School opened, it had a total of 3 books. Nonetheless, Howard promoted their use with zeal. To him, the books presented a system which would really readily approved by educators and deemed esteemed. To offer the best achievable results, Braille and his schoolmates, however, could detect all too well the book's clustering limitations. Nonetheless, Howell's efforts still provided a breakthrough achievement, the recognition of the sense of touch as a workable strategy for the sightless reader. But Howell's system's main drawback was that it was taught into the fingers with the language of the eye.